So, night before last, I had a bunch of security issues that I was running the DevNitro through. And so I had Fable go out and say, hey, I want you to do a complete audit of my code base here with my GlobalCove Technologies framework, and then my DevNitro system itself, and some blueprints and things. And so I have all these things kind of doing that. And then I actually was working on the GlobalCove Technologies framework and said, okay, I want to harden everything, find these vulnerabilities that Fable found, and let's clean it up, right? So it's great because, I mean, I've done this before, ran it through a security consultant team, and it was like $10,000 to do that. And they found some stuff, fixed some stuff, but yeah. Fable definitely found more things, and these weren't just like false positives. Oh yeah, that would be an issue if you had these several things work together. We got to resolve it. So either way, I was working through validating the stuff that was done and making sure things were merged correctly and going through, and it found some keys that were in the Git history, for example. It didn't actually find them, but the script, like the stuff said this, things to check. And so sure enough, there was some stuff in Git history that I had. And of course, those keys weren't even used anywhere. They're only on the development side, but they're rotated. And that's actually what I was kind of working through, was doing some Git leaks before I actually published my stuff into my private NuGet repository that DevNitro uses. All that to say, I'm in the middle of doing that, and I get a message from the system that says, there's an issue with the selected model, Claude Fable 5. It may not exist, or you may not have access to it. It's like, well, that's interesting. I should have access to it. And so I did it again and got the same response. So, okay. So then I started looking and realized, oh no. So this is, again, about this time, about 11:13 last night or so, 11:12 last night. And start seeing, oh yeah, no, government shut down Anthropic, this Claude model. So there were some Amazon employees, researchers, who found a vulnerability, a jailbreaking attempt and stuff. Of course, this has been going on with all the models, from the beginning of time. But I guess it was something they saw there, took it to the government. Government's like, yep, this is bad, stop it. Of course, Anthropic saying, well, actually, you can do the same type of stuff they were telling us about through GPT-5.5. So on one side, you had Anthropic telling us in April, Mythos is crazy. It's going to destroy the internet because it can just hack anything, which, I was like, well, crap, that's kind of, I gotta be on my toes here, make sure everything's, up to date. And of course, then you had some situations where, people were actually injecting bad things into packages, NPM packages and stuff. And so people were trying to update things quickly. And of course, then they were actually vulnerable. And so it's just kind of been a mess over the last few months because of all this from a security perspective. And of course, even before that, OpenClaw and people just, exposing everything out on the internet and everything else. But so when that announcement came out about Mythos, it's like, okay, well, the world's going to change here. And I was actually surprised that we got, Fable 5 as soon as we did. Of course, then I found out, well, they've been using this since January. They really didn't, say anything until April. And then they let, some of the big players have it, obviously, which is great. So Google and Microsoft, Apple, and everybody else. So folks that actually have massive operating systems, massive install base, right, and browsers and things, is like stuff in Cisco. So infrastructure. So it's like, if anyone can simply prompt a model to do security research on some external thing and find vulnerabilities, find all these 0 days and stuff, I mean, it's a big deal. Like it can bring down, infrastructure across the board, whether you're talking about, power plants or water stuff, like from that perspective, versus just disruption and causing, billions or even trillions of dollars of loss through disrupting businesses. So, I mean, it's all very, very serious. Now, from my perspective, as, kind of developer, build, not DevNitro, and trying to make sure that what I'm building is secure, not just for me, but obviously for all the developers that'll be using this, the company that'll be using this. I was like, well, man, I would love to get my hands on Mythos at the time, so I can run it through my code base and like harden this thing as best as it can be hardened, you know? And so when Fable 5 came out, I was like, well, great, here's my chance. And sure enough, I've been running through all my code. That's pretty much been my own focus. I was trying to do other things and I kind of stopped all that. So I was about ready to push out a big, promotion for DevNitro and stuff. But I've kind of put all that on hold to take advantage of, this very capable model from a security perspective. And I had it checking the code and found a bunch of stuff. So that's great, and now I'm going through and actually, fixing stuff. Of course, now I have to fix it with, Opus 4.8 and Codex 5.5, which is fine. I'd prefer it if Fable was around for me to actually fix it, but at least it found it. Now I can use other models to try and make sure that it's, secure. But hopefully we will find a way to be able to have. I'm not sure how you solve the problem, because I was going to say, hopefully we'll find a way to be able to have a nice, capable model that the good guys can use to try and secure things. But, it's like, if it's out there, it's out there. So obviously anybody can use tools, and they can be used for good or for evil, just like anything. A lot of people talk about money. Well, money, money's amoral. It doesn't have any morals. It is what it is. People can use it for good. People can use it for bad. Somebody can bribe some politician for bad, or then go build an orphanage, right? Kind of brick, same thing. You can throw a brick through somebody's window, or you can, build a hospital with it. A knife. You can, stab somebody, or you can use it to, as a surgeon, a scalpel type thing. So there's good tools, and I don't know exactly how we, protect ourselves with these capable models. It seems overreaching for the government to do that, but at the same time, I mean, Anthropic was obviously concerned. That's why they said everything in April, unless it was all just a marketing ruse or whatever. I mean, obviously the model's capable. I mean, it definitely found stuff. So I don't think it was a marketing ruse. But if it was, then definitely you can kind of turn around and bid them if so. But I don't think that's the case. I mean, from everything I was looking at it, it's found more stuff, because obviously I run the same stuff through the previous models, and it's like, well, yeah, everything's looking good. But Fable's like, no, you got 20 holes here, man. What are you doing? Why even program it? Go find another job. Right? It didn't say that, but that's how you feel. You're just like, man, I thought I was decent. I thought I was decent at trying to find security and trying to make sure, or security holes, and trying to make sure I was coding things properly. It was actually in my head as I'm building this stuff out. I'm not trying to, just be haphazard about this. And so seeing a model say, oh yeah, you've messed up here, here, and here. It's like, oh yeah, those are pretty big holes. Oops. And yet it was stuff that the other models hadn't found. So, I mean, it's legitimately more powerful. There's no doubt about it. It's just interesting where we're at. So, because I don't know, I don't know what the answer is, right? Whether or not this should be made available again immediately, or should be made available after some more, restrictions are placed in. Because obviously a lot of people are complaining. It's like, hey, I'm trying to do my work here and it won't let me, scam own systems and stuff. And so, again, the problem is you have bad actors, and not sure how you solve that unless you start having this. Well, we trust these people, so it's kind of what Anthropic did to begin with. Okay, we trust Google and Microsoft and Cisco and Apple to secure their systems, because obviously they're aligned to do so, right? I mean, obviously people don't want their systems hacked, and so that makes sense. But there's all kinds of other systems out there that aren't from the big players, and obviously if they're hacked, it's not as far-reaching necessarily. But there's plenty of other stuff that there's all this other code that's sitting out there beyond simply the operating system and browsers and everything else. So obviously those things have to be hardened, but the rest of us have to harden our code as well. But if you make it available to all of us, then you also make it available to the bad actors. So I don't know. I don't know how you solve this problem. I'd be interested to hear your comments on what you think. If it's an easy, straightforward thing, and people just aren't seeing it, I'd love to hear, what you think about it. But either way, yes, I've been working hard on DevNitro. I'll be talking more about it, in the future. But I figure I kind of, go out of my typical. You already know this type of videos I've been doing, a couple minutes, and just share my thoughts on this whole Mythos and Fable 5 bits, and the government banning it. It's crazy. I was using a ban tool when it was banned. It's like 1 minute it's working, the next minute, no, you don't have access. It's like, okay. So anyway, all right, totally different video. Let me know if you like this, didn't like it. Thumbs ups will help me know that, or comments or whatever, or thumbs downs for that matter. So it'll help me know whether I should do more off-cuff stuff like this, or you stick to my more 2-3 minute things. But I will be doing other demos and things in the future, so be on the lookout for that. If you're not subscribed and you care about developer tools and things, because DevNitro is actually a tool that lets you use any model that you want. So any provider, any model. So you're not locked into one particular one. And it has, you hear people talking these days about like goals and workflows and loops. And it kind of has the stuff built in. It's had built in here for a few months. But I've been just working on it, heads down, working on it versus like talking about it. So I'm going to start talking about it more. So you'll see some demos. But if you're interested in that, then definitely subscribe if you're not. But give me feedback on what you want to see, what you don't want to see, and I'll take it into account. All right. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm Chad Carter, helping .NET teams ship production apps faster. You already know what you're doing, so now go ship it, and I'll see you in the next video. And by the way, if you did like this and you think a dev would like it, you can share it with them. All right. See you in the next video.